voyage.
Alright, so the first episode of Diamond and Pearl legit has me interested where it's going. As we spend the first episode following the new girl, Dawn, the best girl, as it's the day she goes on her Pokemon journey. But she doesn't want to be the very best like no one ever was, she wants to be a top coordinator like her mom was by competing in Pokemon contests. She heads to Professor Rowan's lab in Sandgem Town to get her starter, but some of them have gotten out, and Dawn decides to go look for them. One of the Pokemon is a Piplup, and Dawn manages to work with it to beat an Ariados, and at a nearby lake, they see a mysterious Pokemon. After that adventure, Dawn chooses Piplup as her starter and begins her journey. Then, of course, there's our boy, Ash, who's arrived at Sinnoh. But guess who else has come to Sinnoh? Team Rocket, of course, try to steal Pikachu. And after they mess it up themselves, Pikachu flies off into a forest with Ash and his Apom right behind him. Yeah, I thought this season opening was pretty good. I like the choice of following Dawn before she meets Ash, so we get to know her as a character first while she's by herself until she just becomes, one of Ash's traveling companions. Honestly, I kind of consider her to be more of a downplayed version of Ash, having this grand dream of something that she knows how to get but doesn't know exactly when she'll get there. As well as it gives us a reason to root for her, seeing not just how she risks herself for Piplup, but seeing her more scattered personality, like when she tries to bring a giant suitcase with her on her journey, along with her catchphrase, "No need to worry." Which, you don't have to worry, she doesn't use it that much, but it shows that she's someone who thinks she knows what she's doing, but can get overwhelmed very easily. I know you're shocked, that was the longest and most detailed character analysis I've done so far, and it wasn't even that much. Hopefully, that is the most I do for the rest of it. But it's mainly because we got to see a character have an episode all about them without being cut in with, Team Rocket stuff or whatever Ash is doing, so might as well.
2 degrees of separation.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the theme song with all that Dawn simping. It sucks. It's a rap.
It's all about the challenges. It's a brand new game and a brand new world, new rivals. As you fight for survival, nothing can stop you. Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, it's no Poke-Rap, considering that is actually fun with how cheesy and forced it is. Also, it's still kinda catchy. This is trying to sound like an actual cool rap, but it just sounds like they came up with it in 5 minutes.
It's all about the battle. You gotta play smart. You gotta move faster. Behind every win, there's a chance to begin again.
Anyway, after Dawn fails at catching some Pokemon, including a Pikachu that seems to be owned by some other trainer that also destroys her bike. Does this make Pikachu a serial bike killer now? Team Rocket show up and try to steal it, but Piplup sends him packing. Dawn immediately calls Rowan and tells him what happened, and it just so happens Ash arrives at Rowan's lab and tells him that Dawn found his Pikachu. But she leaves the Pokemon Center she was at as he leaves the lab. Then on his way, Ash runs into Brock. Oh, geez, wow, they didn't even build it up this time. He was gone 1 episode. Turns out after he returned to Pewter, he met Claudina, a trucker he's been traveling with so he can, breed with her, because he's a breeder. But he finds out she has a boyfriend, and she leaves him there. Wow. So he decides, well, I'm here, might as well go on another journey with you, Ash. Man, they show my boy no respect. Then Ash spots a Starly that he catches, since he can use a flying type to help look for Pikachu. Then Team Rocket is busy relaxing at one of James's family homes, and it turns out he owns a Carnivine that lives there, which is on his team now. Okay. Yeah, I know, we're already on episode 2, and it seems like a lot is happening. Well, it's not gonna stop.
When Pokemon worlds collide!
Continuing to look for Dawn and Pikachu, Ash and Brock run into a trainer named Paul and his Elekid, who are going around catching Starly. And Paul is only keeping the ones that know the move Aerial Ace while releasing the rest. Ash is not big on treating Pokemon like that since he thinks any Pokemon can be strong. But Paul disagrees and challenges Ash to a 3-on-3 battle, but Ash doesn't have 3 Pokemon right now, so Paul leaves pissed at this, calling Ash pathetic. Meanwhile, Dawn is on her way to meet Ash when Team Rocket shows up again, and this time, Dawn isn't enough, but luckily Ash and Brock show up and manage to send away Team Rocket as everyone meets for the first time. The group then head to Rowan's lab, where Ash gets new clothes from his mom, and on their way there, Ash runs into Paul again. Now with Pikachu, they have a 3-on-3 battle. First, the two fight with their Starlies, and Paul may know what he's talking about as his beats Ash's. Ash then uses Apom against Paul's Chimchar, and the two monkeys are evenly matched, but Apom manages to get the dub. Finally, it's Pikachu versus Elekid, and the two electric types are evenly matched, ending in a draw. At the end, Paul releases the Starly that he caught, confusing Ash, with Paul stating, well, there are stronger ones out there that he'd rather have as he walks away. Well, after that, Dawn suggests that the 3 of them that have just met should travel together, and Ash and Brock accept. Now the 3 head to Jubilife City for Dawn's first Pokemon contest, then Ouroboros City for Ash's first gym battle. So yes, we finally have a rival like Gary that will last throughout the whole season, Paul, who I absolutely love. As you saw, he's the exact opposite of Ash, wanting strength more than anything, not even caring about his Pokemon unless they're strong. Even Gary and all his dickishness, he still cared about Pokemon. Yeah, not Paul. He also kind of reminds me of the Gen 2 rival with his philosophy. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some connection when creating the character. That's all I'll say about him for now, because trust me, we're going to see a lot more Paul.
Dawn of a new era!
After Dawn fails a second time at catching a Baniri, the gang meet Nando, a trainer who's not sure what to go on a journey for, gyms or contests. To help him figure it out, Dawn battles Nando, but loses. Then after some rocket stuff, Ash challenges him and wins. After both battles, Nando decides he wants to do gyms and contests, so now Dawn and Ash have a new rival. Oh yeah, we also found out Brock only brought Bonsley with him. Why'd you not bring the giant steel creature you have at your home? I always thought Nando was an interesting character. I mean, as someone that does contests and gyms, that's something we haven't seen so far in the anime and probably never will again. Plus, it's like you in the games. That's something you can do, you know, freely choose between doing the other. Too bad he doesn't show up much.
Although all of you are beautiful, your beauty stands out.
Huh? But wait! Brock was acting the exact same way with Officer Jenny! What's up with that?
Yeah, there's a question with no answer. Get twiggy with it!
After a Team Rocket plan goes wrong again, Pikachu flies off again and meets a Turtwig that is very protective of the Pokemon in the woods, including Pikachu, not believing Ash and Pikachu are friends. After some convincing though, by stopping Team Rocket, Turtwig not only believes Ash, but he wants to join him on his journey.
Different strokes for different blokes.
The group run into Paul again, and Ash wants a rematch, which doesn't go so well with Ash's new Turtwig disobeying him. Then Team Rocket interrupts the battle, which after all of it, an explosion sends Ash and Paul over a cliff. Ash wants to work together with Paul to get out, but he's not worried about the situation at all and is more concerned with looking for strong Pokemon. Ash is able to get on better terms with Turtwig though, and meet his friends again, while Paul just catches an Ursaring. The two rivals then decide to continue their battle, but Paul wins because sometimes type advantage matters in the anime too, as he walks away with nothing for Ash to do but get stronger and try again.
Here I thought Ash was pathetic.
How dare you educate the new twerp if you believe?
Right. Look, twerp, we're known as Team Rocket. The smartest, coolest, orneriest, the nastiest, cheapest, hungriest, stupid penny ante.
And Like It or Lup It, yes, finally the first episode where nothing all that important happens, I get a break. Piplup is having trouble perfecting its moves for contests, but after helping some other water Pokemon with Team Rocket stealing their berries, it can now do whatever the hell that is. Team Rocket has started a fake gym where if someone loses, they will hold on to their Pokemon for training, so they can use cheap judge calls to make it seem like the challengers are losing and take their Pokemon. And something surprising happens when a wild Krogunk takes interest in the battles and starts helping them out. But unfortunately, the plan is ruined by, the twerps. With that, all the Pokemon are saved, and the character of the day, Minnie, is going to look after all the Pokemon left there until the trainers come back. However, Krogunk is wild and doesn't have a trainer, so Brock offers to be its trainer, which it accepts. And now we begin the best running joke in Pokemon, as now whenever Brock tries to, Krogunk hits him with a poison jab, paralyzing him, and then drags him off somewhere into the woods. Unlike with Max, where him seemingly doing it for no reason was stupid, here, Krogunk doing it and then randomly dragging him only for him to return later is funnier because we don't really know why or where he drags him off to. The lack of explanation is what makes this funny. If they added any context to these, then it wouldn't have the same impact.
Setting the world on its Baniri!
On the road to Jubilife, the group encounter a Baniri the Pokemon Dawn has tried to catch twice now and failed. Ash decides he wants to catch it too though, but Baniri doesn't care about anyone but Pikachu because it has a crush on him. Eventually, after some rockets blast off again, Dawn is the one who manages to snag Baniri. And not on my watch you don't, could have cut 2 words there. Our heroes arrive in Jubilife and Dawn gets a Poketch. This ends the episode on the Poketch.
Mounting a coordinator assault!
Dawn is ready to enter her first contest, and she receives a dress to use in the contest from her mom. And Ash surprisingly enters the contest as well when he says his Apom looks like it wants to participate. Jessie as well has decided to compete in contests again, this time using only one persona of Jesslina. And while Dawn is nervous backstage for her debut, she meets Zoe, a fellow coordinator who has already competed in 3 contests and won one of them already. The competition is fierce, Zoe performs amazingly, and even Ash and Jesslina do well because of their prior experience. Dawn manages to pull it off though, doing a good performance despite her nerves, and the episode ends with everyone seeing who will make it to the finals.
Arrival of Arrival!
Well, turns out all 4 of them make it to the next round. First up, it's Ash versus Zoe, and Zoe doesn't like it when she finds out Ash is more interested in gym battles than contests. I think this is a game, kid. Zoe does manage to beat Ash pretty well at first, since she's more focused on the points, and Ash tries for more brute force. But at the end, Ash almost wins, but loses the time. And with that, at the end, Zoe admits that if it wasn't for a time limit, she would have lost, and the two bury the beef. Though she makes an interesting suggestion when she finds out Ash entered cause Apom wanted to.
I know what to do. Dawn, you raise Apom.
Huh?
Pika?
Dawn and Jessie beat their opponents too, then it's Dawn versus Zoe, and unfortunately, Zoe is too good and beats Dawn. Then the finals are Zoe versus Jessie. Well, wow, I was expecting her to get there. But again, Zoe manages to get the dub, earning her second ribbon. And while Dawn is sad she lost her first contest, she now has a rival for life. And it's on to Ash's first gym battle.
A Staravia is born!
When Team Rocket's latest scheme is snagging flying Pokemon in a valley, Ash's Starly is one of them. But it and some other Pokemon stage an escape, and during this, Starly evolves into Staravia and learns Aerial Ace. Alright, finally, now that things have kind of calmed down, I can finally talk about Team Rocket's new motto. It's alright. I don't know if it's any better than the last one. The only line I really like is when James says, "When everything's worse, our work is complete." That's a fire line. Other than that, it's alright.
Bringing chaos at a breakneck pace.
Dashing hope, putting fear in its place.
A rose by any other name's just as sweet.
When everything's worse, our work is complete.
In Leave It to Brocco, whoa, Brock episode, these are getting rarer than a holographic Charizard. The group come across a Nurse Joy trying to help a Nuzleaf, and after Brock manages to heal it, they need to return it to its natural habitat. But of course Team Rocket wants it, but while stealing it, they also grab Bonsly and Brock by mistake. And while he tries to escape from them by cooking for them, Bonsly evolves into Sudowoodo, and this makes it strong enough, plus the arrival of Nuzleaf's friends, to send the Rockets blasting off again.
Shapes of things to come!
Okay, so one thing that I don't like that the season is doing is that at the beginning of every episode, they show a cold open of like a middle part of the episode to give you like a sneak peek of what's happening, and I don't really like it. It kind of reminds me of like a YouTube video for some reason, you know, a way to make kids to keep watching, like, whoa, how'd they get there? Anyway, arriving in Oreburgh City, Ash is ready to battle the gym, but has to wait in line because Paul has shown up before him. So they decide to watch Paul's battle and see his tactics that Ash doesn't agree with. Like him using an Azumarill for a counterpick, which doesn't even work when it loses to a Geodude, and forcing its Chimchar to take lots of damage to activate its Blaze ability to power up its Fire-type moves. And you like his tactics or not, they work as Paul wins his first badge and immediately tries to leave, but Ash convinces him to stay and watch his gym battle.
Whoa, it's Paul!
Do I know you?
Paul, these friends of yours?
No way!
A rough act to follow!
Alright, something else that's really started annoying me is this TV. I've been trying really hard to fix it so it shows up well on camera, but I just can't. I know, I'm sorry, I'm putting all these pictures up and everything. You're probably not even paying attention to it. It's just really annoying me. I need a better camera, I guess. Paul agrees to stay and watch Ash's match, and while Ash prepares at the Pokemon Center, he actually picks Pokemon that would be good against rock types, leaving Staravia out. Now, that's character development. Ash then learns Paul gave his Azumarill away to some random kid due to it losing, saying it would have never gotten stronger anyway.
No, that one was a lost cause.
I don't get you.
And I thought you wanted to win.
I do, but not the way you go about doing it.
Ash, pissed at this, says he's never going to lose to Paul again. But I tell you who he will lose to, Rourke. Yeah, despite Ash actually picking good matchups, he loses to the gym leader, and Paul leaves now convinced Ash is all talk and his opinion of him is as low as ever. Geez man, why are all of these episodes so good? Like even Dawn's contest episode, spending 2 parts to actually establish her new rival and how she is. Like, how's the writing gotten better, the pacing, the dialogue, all of it's just gotten so much better. The only thing that hasn't gotten better is the animation. I feel it's gotten worse, actually, in some aspects. Like, characters feel like they go off model a lot. But honestly, the writing kind of saves it. It's really nice to see Ash have rival not only as a polar opposite of him, but it just seems like Ash cannot get one over on him. He's constantly on the back foot. And the fact that the show is actually spending the time to develop them and their relationship and showing how much they really don't like each other, it's really awesome. It's something I wasn't expecting from Pokemon to do, especially after the last 3 seasons. Like, it's just really nice, again, to see Ash struggle and not seem like he's going to win every battle. Well, I haven't disliked what I've been watching so far. It's been a while since I could say this about Pokemon, probably since the first one. I'm interested to keep watching to see where this goes.
What's wrong?
What's wrong? Who are you?
Excuse me, your rudeness, but we met once before. The name's Dawn.
Don't remember.
You think you're funny, don't ya?
And Wild in the Streets, while Ash trains for his rematch against Rourke and Dawn finds out the next contest is in Floroma Town, Team Rocket try to steal a fossil restorer. It accidentally restores an Aerodactyl, which causes havoc in the streets. Oh. But thanks to our heroes and Rourke's new Rampardos that just evolved, they stop Aerodactyl and beat Team Rocket. Then, in Or the Rampardos we watched, Ash manages to beat Rourke the second time, even with his new Rampardos, earning his first badge. And twice smitten, once shy, Dawn catches a Pachirisu. That's not even me leaving anything out, she's easily able to catch it. Except training it is another thing, as it's incredibly hyper and causes havoc, so Dawn releases it, but then decides she wants it again. Okay.
Mutiny in the Bounty!
Alright, hope you motherfuckers are ready. Because in this episode, our heroes witness a mysterious woman just steal some lady's Gardevoir, just in broad daylight. What's more, she also steals Pikachu because of its power level, and Meowth since it can talk, which is something I constantly forget about, that's a weird thing that he does, I'm just used to it. This woman is Pokemon Hunter J, a ruthless Pokemon hunter who steals any Pokemon for the right price. Ash and Team Rocket managed to get on board her fucking helicarrier, and managed to rescue Pikachu, Meowth, and the Gardevoir. Instead of trying to stop them, Jay decides, this isn't worth the hassle, and just drops them all out of the plane, but are saved by Gardevoir's teleport, and Hunter J easily escapes. Fuck yes, dude, I love Jay. She is the best villain in Pokemon. There will be no arguments about this. She's cold, calculated, never bothers with speeches or mottos or whatever. She'll just have her Salamence shoot a Hyper Beam at your face and steal your Pokemon. Now this is what I want in a villain, especially in Pokemon, which is meant to be this, really wholesome series, or you wouldn't expect a character like this. Not to mention she's hot. The best villains to me are the ones you love to hate. She has no redeemable qualities, only likes money, and even will kill her own henchmen to get the job done, which she must offer great benefits for them to stay on knowing that. And again, this episode reminded me, oh yeah, Meowth talking is supposed to be a rare thing in Pokemon. Like, regular people, when they see it, don't react at all when this is happening, that it's supposed to be unusual, so I just kind of grow numb to it. Either way, I can't wait to see more of Jay, and I might join her crew, honestly.
Nobody gets away with that kind of thing forever.
Yeah, it's hard, but we just have to know that's true.
And you
see, we want an evolution!
Our heroes meet a group of coordinators who are all about not evolving their Pokemon. They are called the B-Button League. The name is the best part.
Borrowing on bad faith!
This one was just a fun episode in my opinion. A local village is having an unofficial Pokemon contest where the prize is a year's worth of fruit. Dawn enters, of course, and Apom, excited at the prospect of entering too, goes apeshit, so to speak, and ends up trapped on a rock and is saved by Jessie, who makes a deal with Ash that since she saved it, she could use it in the contest. And Jessie and Apom do very well, so much so that Ash is worried Apom might not want to come back and stay with Jessie and do contests. And Jessie even manages to win the whole contest. Wow. And then, cause they're idiots, Team Rocket attempt to steal the fruit that they won anyway, cause they're idiots. So no one really chases them until Apom does, everyone thinking that she wants to go with Jessie now, but she just wanted some fruit.
I guess those guys don't remember that they didn't steal anything this time.
As you remember, old habits die hard.
They're so weird.
And faced with Steelix's determination, the group help a Bidoof village stave off an angry Steelix who got pissed off after some Team Rocket shenanigans. In cooking up a sweet story, Ash lends Pikachu to a woman who wants to trick her grandma into thinking it's her Pikachu that ran away so she'll win a baking contest. It's more wholesome and sad than I make it sound. And oh, do you know the Poffin plan? These names are getting too long. The gang arrive in Floroma Town for Dawn's contest, where they all learn to make Poffins the Pokeblocks of the future. Also, Roserade is a badass with its scarf.
Getting the pre-contest titters!
While training for the contest with her new Pachirisu, Dawn runs into her childhood friend Kenny, who has all the tea when it comes to Dawn, even referring to as Dee Dee.
What do you know? Dee Dee's got herself a Pikachu. Dee Dee's all grown up.
Kenny, stop! And you stop calling me Dee Dee too!
What's more, he's also a coordinator who has entered the Floroma contest and has the same starter as Dawn, but more evolved. At the end of the episode, the contest starts with Dawn using Pachirisu, who gets off to a bad start tripping over itself. Whoa, cliffhanger. Luckily, in settling a not-so-old score, Dawn manages to recover and advances to the next round with Kenny and Jessie. Dawn manages to beat Jessie, and then she finally gets one up over Kenny when her Piplup beats Prinplup with anime logic. And now Dawn has her first ribbon, with Kenny promising to beat Dawn in another contest. And now the gang head to Eternity for Ash's next gym battle. In Drifloon on the Wind, the gang help Nurse Joy's kids. Oh wow, the Joy Gene really works. What happens if a Nurse Joy has a son? Anyway, Suicune shows up to save the kid from a storm. Huh? In the Champ Twins, after losing a double battle to famous battling twins Ryan and Brian, with a Y, so we don't claim him, Ash and Dawn begin arguing over stuff I don't care about but make up at the end and manage to beat Ryan and not real Brian. In Some Enchanted Sweetening, the group run into Cheryl, who is trying to catch a male Burmy to evolve it into a Mothim so she can use its sense of smell to find the Amber Castle, a hidden area that contains enchanted honey. Sounds like a shitty JRPG side quest, which it is. In The Grass Type is Always Greener, on the way to the Amber House, the group meet Gardenia, a huge grass-type nerd, who challenges Ash to a battle when she sees his Turtwig, and she beats him. Cool. Back to the side quest. Which ends in Angry Combination, where Cheryl finally gets her enchanted honey after stopping Team Rocket. I will admit her tenure was brief, but I did kind of like Cheryl. She's my kind of weird chick, and I do like the joke that every time Brock macks on her, she has some weird saying from her grandpa.
I should never touch the hands of a man on the day a Burmy evolves. That's more words of wisdom from my grandfather.
Wow, what a guy.
And all dressed up with somewhere to go, the gang enter a Pokemon dress-up contest. They really make contests out of anything. Brock wins it, earning him a Pokemon egg.
Weasel your way out of this? Cool, huh? I got this from Misty a long time ago.
Misty?
Yo, the lore? While fishing, the gang run into Zoe again, then suddenly all the trainers are challenged by Weasel, who's looking to fight, managing to beat Dawn, Zoe, and Ash in a row, and now all three of them want to catch it. But it's Dawn catches it. In an elite meet and greet, Dawn once again has trouble controlling her new Pokemon when Weasel won't listen to her. Luckily, they meet Lucian of the Sinnoh Elite Four, who helps Dawn with a battle. It humbles Weasel, knowing maybe he's not the strongest, and it starts listening to Dawn.
A secret sphere of influence!
Arriving in Eterna City, immediately the gang rush to a museum that has been robbed. What was stolen was the Adamant Orb, a mysterious orb that is said to have a connection to the legendary Pokemon Dialga and Palkia, who I bet Ash will never meet 3 times in a row. Then a whole bunch of people show up. First the Eterna City officer Jenny, then Gardenia shows up because she heard the thief used a grass-type Pokemon, then Nando is there because he's been arrested as the suspect since the thief used a Sunflora, which he owns, but has run away because the police nabbed him. But it can't be him because he was battling Gardenia at her gym, which he won. Also, this is where Ash finds out Gardenia is the gym leader there. Then another Officer Jenny shows up. This one is the one from Viridian City. Remember all the way back in episode 2? Yep, it's that one. I don't know why it's that one specifically, but it is. Who clashes with Eterna City Jenny on how to handle the investigation. Then we of course find out the crooks were Team Rocket, and the Sunflora was Meowth in disguise. Everything's eventually worked out in the end, with us finding out Team Rocket was hired by someone, I don't really remember. So yeah, kind of a crazy episode. A lot of shit happened, which I don't agree with, but I respect it. And I'll be honest, it's also kind of funny just hearing Jenny argue with herself.
So please just keep your opinions to yourself. Now relax. There must be something I can do to help you out. No, we're just fine.
In the Grass Menagerie, Ash beats Gardenia, earning a second badge. While I didn't talk about her much, I do like Gardenia since they just made her a huge grass-type nerd. And her voice just sounds like the kind of person that loves going off about their niche hobby. It fits her perfectly.
And those guys are the bad guys.
That can't be true! There's no way! A grass-type Pokemon trainer could never ever be all that bad! Then would you be interested in my Victory Bell?
Victory Bell?
In one big Happiny family, Brock's egg hatches into a Happiny. That's it. And Steamboat Willie's, hey, that's not copyrighted anymore. It's mostly the Pokemon dicking around on a steamboat. It's like a Pikachu short, but not as good.
Top-down training!
Aw yeah, baby, you thought Hunter J was wife material? Well, guess what? She's here. Cynthia, the champion of the Sinnoh region. She can be my top any day. Not even Krogan can resist her riz. Ash and friends meet my wife, Cynthia, on the way to Hearthome City, and also see Paul again, who instantly challenges Cynthia, and it does not go well. At all. Despite being a 6-on-6 battle, Cynthia only uses her Garchomp and knocks out Paul's Pokemon one after the other without any effort, with Paul eventually giving up, realizing he's no match. He then walks away in the opposite direction of the Pokemon Center, which Ash points out, and Cynthia suggests Paul should go heal his Pokemon, which he agrees to. And at the Pokemon Center, Paul suddenly gets real chatty, telling everyone he chose Turtwig as his starter, and like Ash, has challenged the leagues in Hoenn, Johto, and Kanto, and lost them all. Then Team Rocket tries to steal Paul's Pokemon, but only managed to grab Chimchar. While Ash tries to save them, Paul just tells Zerspring to use Hyper Beam on them, barely missing Chimchar and causing it to get injured. Of course, Dawn and Ash don't like this of him putting Chimchar in harm's way, and that's when they notice that he seems to treat Chimchar much harsher than his other Pokemon for some reason.
Look, I don't care if you did get injured. To be captured by a bunch of losers? Useless!
In Stand Up and Sit Down, Dawn learns from Zoe that the contest in Heart Home City and the Grand Festival will all be double performances, 2 Pokemon at once. Also, Zoe is injured in this episode for no reason. Why? For the world building? Also, Chris, or Marina, or whatever you call her, the girl from the Johto games, is apparently a top coordinator. That's neat. In the Electrike Company, nothing as interesting as the name happens. Malice in Wonderland is kind of a ghost episode about a Miss Magius who shows people illusions of their greatest dreams. In Mass Hipposis, the gang try to reunite a lost hippopotas with its herd as Ash is egged on by the crew from Sinnoh Now, who are a group of reoccurring characters. The whole joke is that Anger Rhonda hates the sound guy or something. Also, it's been a long time since this happened, but the group sort of mock Team Rocket's motto.
But after what you did, Team Rocket, you won't be!
Get ready for trouble!
Make it double!
Hey, no fair!
It's not the same. Once again, the group run into Hunter J and her goons, who are trying to steal a bunch of Shieldon, but luckily they have some help this time in stopping her, with Gary. Which, holy shit, Gary and Hunter J in the same episode? Hell yeah. However, even though they have Gary's help this time, it's not enough, as while they save most of the Shieldon, she still gets one, and Ash and Gary are ready to take her on, but when her client cancels the contract, Jay leaves, having no more interest knowing she won't get paid. I mean, hey, you gotta respect the girl doing it for the bag, am I right? I mean, how dare she? She's, so evil. I mean, hot. No, I had that right the first time. In Amazing Race, Dawn needs to get the new app for her Poketch, oh boy, but on the way the group gets separated in a giant maze that's just there, I guess, and all the humans get mixed up with each other's Pokemon, trying to figure out how to find each other. The funniest part of this episode is that Paul happens to be there too, he's just catching Pokemon like usual, and he meets all 3 of them, and he just tells them all that he hasn't seen anybody.
Have you seen Brock and Dawn around here?
No. Should I?
Paul! Have you seen Ash or Brock anywhere?
Not you too.
Pardon me for living.
Hey, Paul! Have you seen Ash or Dawn? No, I haven't.
That's weird. Wonder what's eating him.
Like, I don't know why he's there, but it was funny. In Sandshrews' locker, the group meet Mira, who tries to save her Sandshrew that is trapped in its Pokeball at a sunken town at the bottom of a lake. Why? Because Mira moved away from this town but left the Sandshrew in its Pokeball, and it's still there, underwater. Well, that's fucked up. Luckily, they do save it. That episode 516 is a clip show.
Dawn's Early Night!
Now that's a catchy title. Arriving in Heart Home City, Dawn enters the contest there, and a lot of people are here for the contest. Zoe, Jesse, and Nando. It'll be interesting seeing who Dawn fights. Oh, yeah, we don't see who she fights because she doesn't even make it past the performance round. Getting knocked out early. Yikes. And considering this is her dream, getting knocked out the first round really messes with her head, and she starts feeling pretty depressed about it. In the end though, Nando wins the contest, beating Zoe in the finals, and Zoe and Dawn may not have won, but strengthened their bond by sympathizing with how they lost and how impressive Nando is doing both contests and gyms. Speaking of that, it's time for Ash's gym battle. Oh, the gym leader gone. Ah well. Luckily, the city is hosting a tag battle competition where teams of 2 trainers compete together. Ash and Brock decide to enter. Can't wait.
Tag! We're in!
It's time for the tag battle tournament, and Ash and Brock convince Dawn to join to help get over her loss. Each partner is chosen randomly. Brock lucks out and gets a hot trainer named Holly. Dawn gets the kinda creepy Conway, and Ash teams up with... oh... this is gonna be good. Yes, it's Ash and Paul, the best odd couple. Dawn and Conway do well, with Conway using strategy of him focusing on defense while she attacks. Brock and Holly win because Brock is perfectly willing to work with her. Paul uses his Chimchar and Ash his Pikachu, and during the battle, Paul makes some weird orders that potentially will get Chimchar hurt while battling, which Ash interferes in, and Paul doesn't like that at all. Despite their arguing, they win somehow, advancing in the first round. But if they don't get along, it won't be for long. Resting at night at the Pokemon Center, Ash and Dawn find Paul training his Chimchar very harshly, having his other Pokemon attacking it constantly. Even Team Rocket admit that's pretty harsh. But to all of their surprise, Paul says Chimchar is the one that wants this harsh training. But when it gets too much, Ash intervenes and takes Chimchar to the Pokemon Center. Paul then explains that he found Chimchar being chased by a wild Zangoose, and when its Blaze ability was activated, it used a very powerful Flame Wheel attack. So Paul has been treating Chimchar like that to recreate that moment of stress so Chimchar can go all out. The next day in the tournament, despite not having fully recovered, Paul still uses Chimchar, and what's more, the Pokemon they're up against is a Zangoose. Ash, using his Turtwig, tries his best to help Chimchar, but Paul is annoyed at him constantly interfering, so he orders Chimchar to attack Turtwig. And unfortunately it does, hitting the opponent's Pokemon in the process though, but Turtwig is down now, and only Chimchar is left, but still not powering up. Paul decides this isn't worth it anymore. If fighting the Pokemon that caused Chimchar's original power won't work, then he's useless, and Paul just walks away from the battle. But Ash won't give up now. He gives orders to Chimchar and manages to get the win. Later, Paul releases Chimchar, having enough, and of course Ash, Brock, and Dawn tell him what a cunt he's being, which he doesn't care. But then the episode ends with everyone, even Paul, shocked when Ash offers Chimchar a spot on his team.
Smells like team spirit!
The episode begins with Paul being savage as usual.
You deserve each other. You're both pathetic.
Despite his comments, Chimchar happily accepts a spot on Ash's team. Still, the tournament is going on, and Ash and Paul still need to work together, which they don't. The power of Ash's Staravia and Paul's Torterra, though, proves too much for Holly and Brock, knocking them out. Now for the final round, it's Ash and Paul versus Dawn and Conway, and Ash decides to use Chimchar for this, while Paul uses Elekid. At first it seems like Conway's strategies will win thanks to Paul and Ash not being able to work together, but Conway's strategy didn't account for Paul's Elekid evolving into Electabuzz in the middle of the battle. So with this sudden power-up, despite all that happened, Paul and Ash manage to win the tournament and the prize as both get a Soothe Bell, but Paul gives his to Ash since he only entered to strengthen his Pokemon, which he got when Elekid evolved. And now with Chimchar on the team, Conway tells Ash of the gym in Veilstone City, making that their next destination. So yeah, those were kind of the best episodes of Pokemon I've seen so far, what the hell? Like, Paul is such a good rival, he's such a cunt, man. You really want to see Ash beat him and prove him wrong, but you know, Paul's not crazy or evil. He has a logical reason for why he does the things he does, but he's just a dick about it. I also just realized my camera wasn't centered. I don't know if you've noticed that. And look, I know there's some sad Pokemon backstories in this anime, but I gotta say, Chimchar is the best, at least so far. I really felt for him, man. This is the first time in this anime I can say that a Pokemon story actually almost made me cry, seeing how he was treated and why. And finally, what feels like a long time, Ash feels like the main character. He was shown off great, showing that he won't give up on Chimchar, and you didn't experience it like me. But when he tells Chimchar to use Flamethrower in that match, it was the hypest shit ever, like something out of a shonen anime. Like, you don't understand how crazy it was watching that. It was like, oh my god, I feel like my balls dropped watching it.
Chimchar, quick, Flamethrower!
I can definitely say this 3-parter tournament arc, and Glory Blaze specifically, is one of my favorite episodes so far, definitely top 3, honestly. And believe it or not, it keeps up this momentum for a while.
Tears for fears!
Chimchar is having trouble dealing with kindness, as everyone is friendly, feeds him good, and even when it loses a practice battle, it breaks down in tears when Ash praises it for trying its best. Wow, that's fucking sad. Meanwhile, Team Rocket are chased off by some angry Zangoose, oh boy, and bring them to the Twerps where they try to steal some Pokemon, and end up getting caught in their own trap. So now, the only one who can help is Chimchar, who of course is still scared but overcomes his trauma to help his new friends after they showed him so much kindness. Who's cutting onions? Who's cutting onions? Brock, you cutting onions, bro? So yeah, these past couple episodes sure were emotional. Hopefully the next one's a fun, lighthearted filler episode or something so we can, you know, have fun again.
Once there were green fields!
Never mind, because now we get a sad Team Rocket episode. Chasing after the Twerps, everyone runs into Gardenia again, who's helping out at a school. And when Team Rocket try to do their thing, Gardenia can't read the room as she geeks out about James's Cacnea. And when she's supposed to demonstrate a battle to the kids, she somehow convinces James to join her in a double battle against Ash and Dawn. During the battle, Gardenia tells James to use the move Drain Punch, which doesn't come out properly, and they lose as a result. Then Gardenia straight up tells James Cacnea couldn't pull off the move because of him, because they weren't in sync, and she offers to take Cacnea and train him, which James refuses. But he starts wondering if he can bring out the potential of Cacnea, with even Jessie and Meowth helping him, and even roping in the Twerps on it. But try as he might, James realizes that no matter what, he just isn't the one capable of bringing out Cacnea's power, and reluctantly gives it to Gardenia.
Even Team Rocket does things the right way once in a while.
Excuse me. We've done the right thing lots of times.
Okay. I'm out of tissues, so now can we get to a regular episode, please?
Throwing the track switch!
Okay, what is this? Is Pokemon a drama now? Okay, this one isn't that serious or sad. When the group run into Zoe, everyone decides to do some practicing. But Dawn's Buizel seems to be more interested in Ash's battle training, and Ash's Apom seems to be more interested in Dawn's contest training. Seeing this, Zoe makes the suggestion the two should trade Pokemon. But they are both reluctant to do so since they've bonded with them, and decide to test the waters with practice battles. But that's interrupted by Meowth and Jessie, who are trying to steal their Pokemon to help James cheer up, as he's still sad about losing Cacnea in the last episode. He gets over it at the end of this one, don't worry. This Poke Theft attempt works out well, though, because Ash and Dawn seem to agree after stopping Team Rocket with each other's Pokemon, the trade should happen, and now Dawn owns Apom and Ash owns Buizel. Into the Keystone Pops, finally I don't have to write a fucking essay for an episode. The gang help a small village stop an evil Spiritomb from going around causing havoc, even roping in Team Rocket to help. So two things in this episode. I think this is the first anime episode that references the fact that Ash has the ability of Aura, a special thing from the Lucario movie, which does come back occasionally.
That twerp with the perched Pikachu is a descendant of the Aura Guardian who sealed you in that crazy keystone.
Meet me?
Also, no, that's a motto parry.
Listen, is that bad guy talk I hear?
It speaks to me loud and clear.
On the wind!
Catch the star.
In your ear!
Is that kind of imitation they invented lawsuits for?
B-Barrel gnaws best!
Oh yeah, I forgot that we're in a new season of Pokemon. I don't think I even mentioned that. We're in which one is this? Battle Dimensions? Sorry, through all the Chimchar trading and getting rid of your Pokemon thing, I kind of forgot. So I should talk about the new opening. It's better, I guess, mostly the beginning part.
On the road, far from home, but you don't have to feel alone.
But it's really short, and again ends with them saying the subtitle. Seriously, they need to stop that.
We will be heroes, Battle Dimension Pokemon.
Anyway, B-Barrel Gnaws Best is about a lazy B-Barrel, whatever. In nosing around the mountain, Ash helps a trainer evolve his Nose Pass into a Probopass, and Team Rocket attempt to steal it with a mind-controlling helmet that they can just make, I guess? In Luxray Vision, the gang meet Marble and Officer Jenny in training and help her control her Luxray that has started disobeying her after it evolved. Yeah, join the club, lady.
Journey to the unknown!
The group arrive in Salacion Town for the next contest, which Kenny is competing in too. And when visiting the Salacion ruins, some people, I think it was Team Rocket, but I don't really remember, mess with the unknown there that caused Dawn to go to the unknown dimension, I think. Luckily, Apom evolves into Ambipom after learning Double Hit, and she escapes and now prepares for the contest.
Team Shocker!
The Salacion contest starts with Dawn and Kenny doing pretty well. Dawn, however, despite her new Ambipom, doesn't manage to get past round 1 again, but unlike last time, she takes it in stride and is prepared to stay and root for Kenny. Hey, good for her. The finals come down to Kenny and Jessie, so naturally Kenny loses, and yet Jessie won the contest with her skill, not using any tricks or anything. Wow, good for her. But uh-oh, it looks like Dawn's loss affected her more than she let on, as she now lost her confidence after losing in round 1 twice, despite her trying her best, and tells Kenny she's not even sure if she wants to be a coordinator anymore. Then she cries herself to sleep. I definitely can relate to that. Cut that out. The next day, Ash and Brock are ready to go, but Dawn is depressed and doesn't even leave her room. That's when Zoe makes a surprise entrance and forces Dawn to battle her. In the fight, she notices Ambipom's move is flashy, but you can't see her, and that's why she lost. She was so focused on making spectacles with moves instead of showing off the appeal of her Pokemon. Knowing now it was more an oversight than her skill, Dawn is feeling a bit better as the group take off for Ash's next gym battle. So yeah, after the animal abuse storyline, now one of the main characters has depression. I remember when the show was about surfing Pikachus. In Tanks for the Memories, to help cheer Dawn up, Brock takes everyone to a special cafe in the mountains. It's a maid cafe. Oh god, calm down, weeps. The youngest sister, though, has trouble training her Miltank, so Brock offers to help her out, while Ash and Dawn are stuck helping out at the cafe in her absence. So there's a moment in this episode where Dawn just starts thinking about how much she's a failure and starts crying, only to pretend like she's fine when Ash notices. This anime is seeing me in ways I never wanted to be seen, and I'm very uncomfortable, although I'm kind of into it. In Hot Springing a Leak, the group meet Leona, another of Dawn's childhood friends who also calls her Dee Dee. Leona is using her 3 Swinub to find a hot spring. Wait, you've seen this before. Also, why does every childhood friend call her Dee Dee?
Why do all of Dawn's old friends call her Dee Dee?
Ash, you don't know? Well, you see.
Riding the winds of change!
Arriving in some town, the group's lunch is interrupted when a group of Gliscor and Gligar come by and eat everything, including a rather goofy one. And right behind them is Paul, who seems to be trying to catch the Gliscor. When the gang want to know what's going on, he of course just tells them to stay out of his way. Luckily, an Officer Jenny and Nurse Joy let them know the Gliscor arrived after being carried to the town from a strong wind, and due to its skyscrapers and stuff, the crazy wind is keeping it from leaving, and its noise, I guess, attracted all the other Gligar to come. After making several attempts to help the Gliscor to leave, it is eventually captured by Paul, who leaves the city to its fate of a now rabid leaderless Gligar group, because he doesn't care anymore now that he got what he came for. Luckily, the gang have a plan to use gust attacks from a bunch of Pokemon, which send the Gligar out of the city. But the strange one from earlier comes back, as it looks like it wants to join Ash, and now he has a new Gligar. Oh, also Ash's Turtwig masters the move Energy Ball, that was a whole subplot. And Sleight of Sand is the return of Cassidy and Beth.
I told you it's not Biff, it's Budge!
Whatever. Who are after a Hippowdon, and the twerps are after it too, as Dawn's Pachirisu has become stuck inside its hole. I wish there was a better way of saying that. And they help it reunite with the Hippopotas from that one episode.
Lost Leader Strategy!
The group arrive in Veilstone City, and immediately find a woman training very intensely with her Lucario, like a bit too much. Suddenly, Pikachu is attacked by an Electabuzz, but this isn't just any Electabuzz, it's Paul's, who is nowhere to be found. That's because Paul's older brother Reggie is taking care of it for him, as he does from time to time, since he's a breeder, and Veilstone City is where Paul is from. Reggie also points out the woman is Maylene, the gym leader, and she refuses Ash's gym challenge, which she can't do.
As gym leader, I have to accept every challenge.
This is because before Ash got there, Paul did battle her and absolutely destroyed her, like there was no challenge. And Paul acknowledges this in his usual charming manner.
The weakest leader I ever fought, and this lightweight badge is just like you.
Maylene then runs off, ashamed, and Brock suggests that maybe they should just find a new gym while she works it out. But surprisingly, Dawn steps up and says she'll talk to Maylene. And the two girls bond over being losers and decide that maybe to get over their slumps, they should have a battle. Meanwhile, Ash and Reggie decide to have a battle in the meantime, while Reggie offers to teach Staravia the Brave Bird move. Meanwhile, while chilling in Reggie's home, Brock notices that there are all the badges from Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh, but when he sees that there are the frontier symbols, there are only 6 out of the 7. Then, in crossing the battle line, Dawn has her first ever gym battle against Maylene, and even though she puts in a good fight, she loses. But a close battle is enough to restore both Maylene and Dawn's confidence. I get Maylene getting her confidence back, but I kind of wish Dawn got her confidence back in a different way than just a gym battle. Seems kind of anticlimactic. Then, in a triple fighting chance, Ash battles Maylene, and it's even closer despite Staravia mastering Brave Bird. At the end, the match is a draw, but as we've seen before, leaders can give badges away, so Ash gets his for putting up such a tough battle. In Enter something, some people try to steal some meteorites from Veilstone City. Weird, I don't remember this one at all, though. I'm sure it's not important. The group now head to Pastoria City for Ash's next gym battle. In The Bells Are Singing, it's another one of those girl who has some sort of performance but the Pokemon will listen so they help episode. We've seen plenty before.
Pokemon Ranger and the Kidnapped Riolu, Part 2!
Alright, so this is the third Pokemon Ranger special and the second two-parter. This one features Kellen, the main character from the best Ranger game, as he teams up with Ash and friends to help Riolu escape from being captured by Hunter J. Ash is willing to help since he has the power of Aura, which resonates with Riolu. To escape her, they try to lose Jay in a forest, and she just burns the whole bitch down to flush them out. God, step on. And she's even able to get the Riolu and sell it to her client. But luckily, Ash, Kellen, and even Solana are able to stop him and get the Riolu back, sending it home, as Hunter J escapes again with a fat paycheck. It was better than the last Ranger special, I guess. I mean, mainly because of Hunter J. I mean, seriously, man. She burns down a whole forest just for some money. What a bitch. I love her.
Crossing paths!
If the Butterfree episode and this one have taught me anything, it's that don't catch a bug Pokemon that can fly in the Pokemon world, because eventually I'll have to release it so it can go fuck. I mean, make eggs. As it's migration season for Dustox, who find a mate and do the thing I said. And Jessie's takes a liking to another trainer's Dustox, which mirrors one of Jessie's many backstories. This one of her either choosing to be an actress or leaving with a man for love. She chose acting, and well, look at where she's at now, so she doesn't want the same for Dustox. She even is willing to restore a lake that reflects the moon to all the Dustox know to migrate when a storm ruins it. Jessie then releases Dustox so it can be free, but it comes back, so Jessie smashes its Pokeball so it can't return. As she cries knowing that Dustox should be happier this way. Once again, another great releasing Pokemon episode by Team Rocket. By this point, I'm just out of manly tears, so that's why I'm so apathetic towards this one. Also, you notice how each one of Team Rocket's Pokemon is so distraught to leave them? I feel like they treat their Pokemon better than anyone thinks.
I love you. Goodbye.
In Pika and Goliath, it's the same as that Lieutenant Surge episode way back at the beginning, with Pikachu losing to a Raichu and everyone telling him and Ash he needs to evolve Pikachu to win. Even shows Ash kept the Thunderstone he got from Vermilion City all the way back then. Why? We know Pikachu isn't going to evolve, and one of my favorite episodes did this better, so sorry I wasn't interested. I do find it funny that Paul will just randomly show up now just to talk shit about Ash. It's becoming a meme now. Shut up.
Our cup runneth over.
Famous trainer Wallace is hosting the Wallace Cup, a big contest on Lake Valor for a ribbon, I assume. Dawn wants to enter it to make her debut after her big slump, and it just so happens the gang run into Wallace, who is hiding from the media, and after some rocket stuff, he gives Dawn some advice on how to bring out her Pokemon more, and also suggests Ash should enter the contest. But the real kicker is at the end, Ash gets a call from Snow Point City, but he doesn't know anyone from there, and it turns out, oh yeah.
A full course tag battle.
That's right, May is back. She's here in Sinnoh to compete in the Wallace Cup, and we see her Eevee has evolved into a Glaceon while in Snow Point. To celebrate the reunion and meeting Dawn, she made reservations at a restaurant where to eat there you have to beat the owners in a tag battle. Ash and Brock easily win their matches, and now it's Dawn and May's turn, but they get a free ticket to eat after stopping Team Rocket from stealing the food. They have the battle anyway and manage to win.
Max is doing great. He's hard at work helping to take care of Dad's Pokemon.
We had to ruin the reunion by bringing him up, didn't we?
Staging a hero's welcome.
The Wallace Cup begins, and Zoe has arrived to compete as well, and has grown herself, as she's not upset this time that Ash has decided to enter, despite being mostly a trainer. Meanwhile, Jessie is also entering, and is still under the assumption that James and Meowth use some trickery to get her to win the Salacion contest, but she's surprised and gets a bit too overconfident when she finds out that she did indeed win of her own skill. We also found out the prize, the Aqua Ribbon, counts towards your ribbon count in any region. May, using her now evolved War Turtle, does a great job, as well as Zoe and her Finneon. But just his performance with Wobbuffet leaves people speechless. Even Ash and Weasel, the battle nerds, do a good job, giving Dawn the jitters, but she overcomes them, and now doing a performance with Ambipom that highlights its strengths, she makes it to the second round, along with May, Ash, and Zoe. Jessie is not as lucky. Must be a skill issue.
Pruning a passel of pals.
The second round takes place the next day, and Ash can't sleep, so he walks around Lake Valor and sees a mysterious Pokemon, kinda like Dawn did at the beginning of her journey. All the girls successfully beat their opponents, but Ash and Weasel lose to Kyle. It's always Kyle. And what's more, he is Dawn's next opponent. Can she beat someone who beat Mr. Catch Them, the greatest trainer of all time?
Strategy with a smile.
Yes, she does, and then it's May versus Zoe. May takes the win when surprising Zoe with an aerial ace on a bug type. Now it's a battle of the girl companions, Glaceon versus Piplup. It's a tough one, trading blow after blow, but due to a timeout, Dawn just manages to win, earning her victory in the Wallace Cup and her second ribbon after, 52 episodes. That's like 4 seasons of a regular anime. Afterwards, Zoe resumes her journey, and May goes back to Johto to continue competing there. Now this is how you bring back an old character, show how she's developed, what they've been up to, and integrate them into the story of one of the new characters. Not some two-parter about some stupid Togepi kingdom. Now if I had one complaint, I wish this was the event that got Dawn her confidence back. Yes, she is shown to still be nervous in the contest, but the show has made it pretty clear she got over it after battling Maylene. To me, that would have made this arc perfect, with May somehow helping her get over her slump. Would have been a nice kind of passing of the torch thing, being like, yeah, I used to suck too, but you just kind of, get good,
The thief that keeps on thieving.
The gang meet Tyler, a new trainer who has been trying to catch a Yanma for 3 days. Wow, you suck, kid. The group try to help him catch it, but Team Rocket steals it. And you know the rest, they stop them. Oh no, they actually steal it successfully and send it to Giovanni? Wow. However, Yanma is very common, and Team Rocket already has a butt ton, so he sends it back. The Rockets, being idiots, think the boss gave it to them to keep as a gift, and now go to steal other Yanma for him. They again run into the twerps, and when Jessie uses her new Yanma, it evolves into Yanmega, but this time it doesn't go so well despite its power-up, and the group help, what's-his-name, catch the bug.
Chimchar!
Running into Paul again, Ash challenges him to a 3-on-3 battle, which he refuses, but changes his mind when Chimchar challenges him. Paul's Gliscor easily beats Ash's Gligar, then Chimchar wants to show its stuff against Paul's Ursaring, and it also goes very bad. So bad that finally Chimchar's blaze triggers, but it's so powerful it goes on a rampage, burning everything. Ash manages to calm it down with, friendship and all that stuff. The battle is called off though, and Paul talks his usual shit, but does say if Chimchar masters Blaze, he will fight Ash again. In Cream of the Krogunk Crop, arriving in Pastoria City, Ash can't challenge the gym leader Crasher Wait because it's the Krogunk Festival. And when a stuck-up Krogunk owner wants his to marry the Krogunk of the Nurse Joy, Brock enters his for the reasons you think he does. But after Team Rocket tries to steal them all, Nurse Joy's Krogunk sends them packing, giving her the win, because she's a strong, independent amphibian that don't need no man. In a crash course in power, Ash gets his 4th badge.
Hungry for the good life!
When the group takes shelter from a storm at a mansion of Mr. Backlot, who owns a trophy garden with all of his Pokemon, the gang see that whenever they make food, a wild Swinub comes by to eat all of it. After Team Rocket steals all the Pokemon and some food, Dawn uses the Swinub to track them and save everyone. And afterwards, she asks Swinub to join her team, which it does.
Fighting fear with fear!
Oh my god, man, why are so many things happening in the show? I mean, I like it, but for my voice, it's not very good. The group are on their way back to Hearthome City for Ash's next gym battle and run into Gary again, and he's just in the nick of time as Ash has been trying to train his Gligar so it can battle, but it's too scared. Gary gives Ash a Razor Fang, saying if he evolves it, problem solved, but Ash wants Gligar to conquer the fear before evolving. After Ash and Gligar are captured by Team Rocket, some coaching from Ash gets Gligar to help them escape, and its confidence is boosted. And I guess Ash sees that as it conquering its fear, so he evolves it into a Gliscor.
It's the poetry guy's grandson!
In arriving in style, the Hearthome gym leader still is not back, but nearby a Pokemon fashion show is going on the group participate in. Yeah, sorry, not interested, moving on. In the Psyduck stops here, the group are now heading to Celestic Town for Dawn's next contest, since Hearthome has been a bust twice. But their path is blocked by some cranky Psyduck, who are guarding the eggs in a small pond after they got kicked out of their regular home by a muck. Okay, also I want you to remember this, right? So they try to pass the Psyduck, cause they can't take another route or have any delays, or Dawn will be late for the Celestic Town contest. Okay? Why is that important, you ask? Well, because the next 3 episodes, the group voluntarily stay at one place for days, not concerned about the time. So look, I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna skip these 4 episodes. They all take place at Professor Rowan's summer camp that the gang enter, as well as Team Rocket in various disguises, and all the episodes are pretty boring. The first one is about Ash starting a rivalry with this girl, Angie, who I'm only mentioning because she does come back once. The second one is about the group trying to help a Luminion trapped in a cave. The third one is one of those Test of Courage episodes. If you watch Slice of Life anime, you know. The last one is kind of fun, sort of a big triathlon type of race. Conway is in these episodes for some reason. I do like him, he's funny and how creepy he is, but it's shown clearly he's a nice guy, he's just socially awkward. They spend a week here, by the way. Remember how they needed to rush to get to that contest? Anyway, the best thing that these episodes do is the next episode. A lean, mean Team Rocket machine, where after a week eating some good food at the camp, Team Rocket got dummy thick. Even though, despite the name, the episode isn't about them, it's about Piplup getting sick from practicing too hard. But I'm sure Fat Team Rocket is someone's fetish. Enjoy that, I guess.
Playing the leveling field!
The gang sees Zoe again, who has just finished getting beaten by a fashion icon, who turns out to be Fantina, the Hearthome gym leader, who's been away from her gym for so long because she's trying to perfect her own style. So she refuses Ash's gym challenge, which she can't do.
As gym leader, I have to accept every challenge.
But has a friendly battle with him. And all of his Pokemon get taken out by Fantina's Drifloon, which evolves into a Drifblim in the battle, who puts all of Ash's Pokemon to sleep with hypnosis, making them unable to fight. However, this fight has inspired Fantina finally, and she promises Ash a gym battle as she's now returning. She even promises to battle Dawn someday. But now Dawn has to focus on the Celestic Town contest, while Ash needs to come up with a way to counter that hypnosis. I'm like barely halfway through this series, and I'm not keeping track of how long this is, but it feels like I've already talked about this longer than I've talked about any season so far. In Doc Brock, it's not really about him despite the title, because the gang camp at a mountain cabin and Brock leaves to go to a pharmacy to get supplies. While he's gone, Pachirisu gets sick and Ash and Dawn have to figure out what to do with Brock gone. And it's okay, I'm always glad when they highlight how important Brock is to the group, but eh. In battling the generation gap, the contest in Celestic Town happens. Dawn wins it. It's overall not that interesting. They do set up a good wall for her in the form of Lila, who, holy shit, is really hot. She was actually the rival of Dawn's mom back in the day, so it was a nice setup and development having Dawn beat someone who had beaten her mom, who's basically her hero. Seriously though, why is every older woman in Pokemon such a MILF? I'm absolutely not complaining about that, but even the one-off characters, like, goddamn, now I see what Brock's been on.
amazing! It's lustrous!
Aw yeah, son, Cynthia is back. And alright, I've been hiding it pretty well. You probably didn't even notice I've not been talking about Team Galactic on purpose. Because hands down, they are the second worst evil team to me. I just don't care about what they're doing. They look stupid, not intimidating at all, despite how the games and anime want them to come across. And their leader Cyrus, who we meet in this two-parter in the anime anyway, just seems like a crazy person who enjoys smelling his own farts. And seriously, anime, you expect me to believe Cynthia can't just fucking destroy all these grunts with her team? Yeah, that's where my suspension of disbelief is shattered. Anyway, if you're curious, you shouldn't be. Team Galactic is stealing the Lustrous Orb and already stole the Adamant Orb, the one from that one episode. Now they have both of those, they go to steal the Lake Pokemon that the gang saw so they can make the Red Chain, so Cyrus can make a new universe. Whatever, best part was Cynthia. And if the scarf fits, wear it, the group meet Angie from the summer camp. See, I told you she'd come back. They do something about a daycare where she accidentally evolves someone's Pokemon, which you can't do, but the trainer didn't care, so I don't. In a trainer and child reunion, the group meet Aaron of the Sinnoh Elite Four, who is training to fight Cynthia to become a top trainer, and there's a sad wormhole backstory.
Aiding the enemy!
At a Pokemon Center, the gang are watching that battle where Cynthia fights Aaron, and Cynthia wins, of course. Don't even step to my woman again, scrub. Also, Paul is there too, and is the one to seem interested in what Ash is doing when he asks about Chimchar's Blaze. Weird. Brock bringing up Reggie to Paul seems to hit a nerve, as he has something against his brother, as Reggie was a great trainer, but lost to Brandon in the Battle Frontier, and after that, he just gave up being a trainer. So now Paul aspires to be better than him by making sure he wins and uses only the best strategies in Pokemon to do so. Paul taunts Ash some more, especially when he shows he's already beat Fantina, and the two decide to settle it in a one-on-one battle. Ash's Turtwig versus Paul's Honchkrow, which goes as you'd expect, but during the battle, Turtwig evolves into Grotle, and still gets his ass kicked. Because it's not used to its bigger body, it has a hard time dodging. Later that night, Grotle tries to train, and Paul's Torterra comes up to him and teaches it that instead of dodging, it should focus on defense. Wow, at least Paul's Pokemon aren't dicks. The next day, Ash thanks Paul for what Torterra did, but he had nothing to do with it and says what his Pokemon do are their own business.
Barry's busting out all over!
Ew. But yes, we are introduced to Barry as the gang arrive in Hearthome City again. Barry is actually a huge fanboy of Paul of all people. Yeah, he thinks Paul is the coolest and strongest trainer ever. So of course he hates Ash as he saw him and Paul compete in the tag battle and just sees him as a weaker trainer who held Paul back. To settle it, the two battle, in which Ash wins pretty easily, but Barry won't accept that he's better, and since Barry lost to Fantina, he's going to stick around for Ash's gym battle to see if he really is better than him. I'm kind of mixed towards Barry. I mean, I do find him annoying in the games and in this episode, but he's not the worst, I guess, and he's kind of meant to be annoying. I will say the voice actor they got for Barry is perfect. Like, listen to it. You immediately go, oh yeah, that's what this character should sound like.
I know you! You were in the tag battle contest, right? You were teamed up with Paul. Oh man, you couldn't even hold a candle to Paul. I was laughing out loud. In a shield with a twist, during Ash's battle against Fantina, he invents the counter shield technique, where a Pokemon spins while using its move to deflect an attack, being Hypnosis in this case. Ash got the idea from that Celestic Town contest episode. I forgot to mention it because I was distracted. But yeah, using this, he's able to win his 5th badge. Meanwhile, Jessie enters another contest and manages to win her 2nd ribbon. Wow. Also, Barry is now traveling with the group. Yay. Jumping Rocket Ship is another one of those episodes where an explosion gets everyone separated after the group arrive in Candelave City for Ash's next gym. But this time, Meowth tricks Pikachu into thinking he's a good now in order to gain their trust. This doesn't work, obviously, but best of all, Barry leaves. Thank God he was only in them for one episode.
Sleepless in pre-battle!
Ash can't challenge the gym yet because the leader is on Iron Island, but the problem now is a Darkrai is going around giving everyone nightmares so no one can sleep. So the gang and Officer Jenny go to Full Moon Island to get the local Cresselia to help everyone. During this, Team Rocket try to steal it, of course, but Dawn Swinub evolves into Piloswine and sends them packing. And Cresselia sends Darkrai away, giving sweet dreams for all. Oh yeah, and in this episode, Dawn mentions that she has a lunar wing that she bought in the Darkrai movie, so it's canon, sort of. Anything to keep the Pokemon lore nerds huffing that copium.
Get your Rotom running!
So now we are in Galactic Battles, only halfway through Diamond and Pearl. The new theme stand-up is pretty good, actually. It's got great build-up, and the break, or whatever you call it, with the drums is really nice.
If we come together
Just again, they say the subtitle at the end and leave in the voices of the Pokemon, which does not sound mixed properly with all the silence. Anyway, this is a ghost episode, but without the weather, and it's about Rotom. Oh, don't worry, Rotom fans, we'll get plenty more of him in future seasons.
A breed stampede!
Dawn's new Piloswine won't obey her, and only does anything if food is involved. And after it eats Team Rocket's food, they try to get revenge by tricking the twerps into a fake Pokemon friendship school. Once it's revealed that it's Team Rocket, they try to steal all the pokes, but this causes Piloswine to evolve into Mamoswine, and it sends Team Rocket flying. But then it goes nuts, attacking everybody, and Dawn can only recall it to its Pokeball, and now, well, she really can't control it.
What a totally awesome poster!
Rad to the max, my peeps!
Hubba bubba! To think there's a groovy place that'll help all types of trainers get closer to their Pokemon!
Yeah, 23 skidoo!
In Ancient Family Matters, Ash and friends meet the Canalave gym leader Byron, and also meet Rourke again, who is Byron's kid, and Rourke don't like his dad too much for abandoning him. They reconcile after stopping Team Rocket. Then, in dealing with defensive types, Ash gets his 6th gym badge after beating Byron. Hey, it's that thing from the intro that I hate. And leading astray, the group help a stranded Wailmer get back to its herd in the ocean. In stealing Peace of Mind, the group head to Iron Island to help Barry fight Team Galactic, I don't care. And saving the world from ruins, oh, it's a 2-parter, pass. Well, okay, I'll mention they meet Riley, he's from the games, and he has that Pokemon from Smash Bros. Brawl. And Cheers on Castaway Isle. On the way to Chocovine Town for Dawn's next contest, Pikachu and Piplup get lost at sea after, of course, a Team Rocket scheme goes wrong. Where, oh, they meet another Deoxys? Man, there sure are a lot of those legendary Pokemon. And Hold the Fione, arriving in Chocovine Town, a group of rare Fione arrive, and one develops an interest in Dawn's Baneri. But if you remember, Baneri has a crush on Pikachu, so the Fione challenges Pikachu for Baneri's affection.
A troubled soul searching for love. Fione, I totally understand!
What? Another one that bites the dust!
When training for the contest, Dawn meets Ursula, a coordinator who also was in the Wallace Cup but lost in the first round, and sees Dawn winning that as dumb luck as she's haughtily mocks her. So they settle it in the contest, and Dawn wins. Well, you can't back up the smack talk. Dawn gets her 4th ribbon, and the group now head to Snow Point City for Ash's next gym. So Ursula's a new rival for Dawn, and while she's introduced late, I do like her. I think they needed one of those, stuck-up enemy rivals for her, like Harley, since all the other ones are her friends. And no, I don't count Jessie as being that. She's just kind of doing her own thing now in contests.
Stealing the conversation!
Alright, so once again, this is just another episode with a quirky Officer Jenny that I really like. Group meet an Officer Jenny from Kanto and her partner Chatot, and she has a very different demeanor than a usual Jenny. She's on the trail of Team Rocket and gets Ash to help, since apparently it's common knowledge that Team Rocket are always following him, which I think is pretty fun. She also uses bowling balls as a weapon, which I'm sure is some hilarious Japanese pun. But yeah, funny episode. Still, the Officer Jenny seemed to get the better episode than the Nurse Joyce.
I don't care if you're wild or mild. All I know is since you transferred to Sinnoh, it's been bad news. One more mistake, and you'll be writing "I'm sorry" 1,000 times.
Good thing I was wearing these.
Wearing these, life's a breeze.
In the Drifting Snow Run, the gang and Team Rocket are tricked by a Frostlass who kidnaps Meowth and Piplup in order to force everyone to look for her missing Snow Runt. So teaming up with Team Rocket, the twerps fight a poacher who was the one that took Snow Runt in the first place. This episode's actually pretty good. I'm not talking about it because overall it's unimportant. In Noodles Roaming Off, Jessie, James, and Meowth run into an old friend of Jessie and James, who was a fellow Rocket grunt that gave up the life to make Noodles and Sinnoh. Okay. When he sees Meowth's claws are perfect for noodle slicing, he offers him a job, which he accepts after another failed Pikachu stealing attempt. Then Jessie goes off by herself to be a... full-time coordinator, so James, the only one still in Team Rocket, tries to capture a shiny Metagross, and when they hear he's going up against such a strong Pokemon alone, Jessie and Meowth rejoin them and fail miserably. But hey, they're friends again, as they all failed miserably together. Why does Team Rocket get the most wholesome episodes?
Pursuing a lofty...
Alright, so remember that episode in Hoenn where Ash's bird Pokemon evolved after entering some specific competition? Well, guess what? It happens again with Staravia evolving into Staraptor in a very specific flying Pokemon competition that Paul also enters, but Ash wins it, making his first technical win against Paul. Take what you can get, I guess. In Trials and Adulations, when an enraged wild Aggron attacked Dawn, she loses Mamoswine's Pokeball while it's out, and now she has to get Mamoswine to listen to her if they're ever to beat that angry Aggron. But thanks to her helping it with an injured leg and Team Rocket attacking Mamoswine, it now finally listens to Dawn as they beat the Aggron. 588 is a clip show.
The Lonely
Snover!
Hey, they got rid of the Pokemon screaming at the end. That's an improvement. Also improving, as you can see, yes, we are now showing Pokemon in 16:9 aspect ratio. We're getting into the future, man. Anyway, this one's about a Snover or something.
Stopped in the name of love!
Alright, what's this? Pokemon Ping Pong? Where you play ping pong with your Pokemon? That's the coolest shit I ever heard. Oh, this episode we see Barry and Kenny again, because they have Piplup evolutions, and this one's about how Piplup doesn't want to evolve, like Pikachu. It's a very touching story about friendship. Pokemon Ping Pong?
Old rivals, new tricks!
Alright, ping pong time. Oh no, it's about a stupid contest. Kenny beats Dawn. Let's get to some fucking ping pong already.
To thine own Pokemon be true!
Yeah, son, this is what I want. A Pokemon sports anime. And it's not that great, unfortunately. I mean, I get it, but what I wanted was ping pong the animation. What I got was just more Pokemon. Anyway, it turns out Amy Palm is so good at ping pong that Dawn gives it to the champion named O. That's his name. To train it in the ways of ping pong in Kanto. What a weird exit for a Pokemon, but okay. In battling a cute drama, the group battles some girl who's obsessed with cute Pokemon, like Shelder. Hey, maybe me and this girl can get along. In classroom training, the group arrive in Snow Point City and meet Zoe again, because this is her hometown. And she's also childhood friends with Candace, the gym leader. And look, a bunch of stuff is about to start happening again, so I'm just gonna skip to when we get to there, you know. And sliding into 7th, Ash succeeds in beating Candace in the 7th gym, and guess who shows up at the end? It's Paul, who challenges Candace. And now it's time to write some essays.
A pyramiding rage!
Since he just lost to Ash, Paul sets his battle with Candace for the next day. But then Reggie is also in Steel Point City. But then, guess who else shows up? Brandon in his battle pyramid. Yeah. And Ash mentions he beat it, which shocks everyone, especially Paul. And not seeing an opportunity like this again, Paul challenges Brandon to a battle. And Paul loses, badly. And Reggie suggests that Paul and Ash should battle, and they both agree. The date is set 10 days from now at Lake Acuity. In Pillars of Friendship, Hunter J returns and reawakens Regigigas so she can catch it, as it goes on a rampage due to being woken up forcefully. And look, honestly, I love Hunter J, but I wish she had a limit. Like, they just make her seem so powerful, even though she's just a person. You know, she seemingly always has it under control, and she's always able to capture these super powerful legendary Pokemon. And like in this episode, the only reason they're ever able to win against her is when a client backs out and she just has no more reason to be there because she's not getting paid. Like, yeah, I want her to be strong, but it just seems like she's fucking unbeatable. Like, there's just nothing anyone can do. Even Brandon has a hard time against her. Like, I don't know, I like she's a Supergirl bitch, but I don't like that they make her seem unbeatable. Like, come on, give her a limit or something. In Frozen on Their Tracks, the group meet Looker, a member of the International Police. Cool.
Pedal to the metal!
Alright, it's time for Ash and Paul to have their first full battle. First, it's Gliscor versus Torterra. Gliscor takes a beating, and Ash switches to Raptor, and Paul switches to Weavile, but Raptor comes out the victor somehow. Then it's Electabuzz versus Grotle, but then all Paul does is use Light Screen, then switch to Honchkrow, and with that extra defensive boost, Honchkrow wins. And the episode ends with Ash using Pikachu as Paul sends out his new Magmortar.
Evolving strategies!
Pikachu gets the first hit, but due to Magmortar's flame body, Pikachu gets burned, so Ash switches to Buizel, and Paul switches to Ursaring. And unfortunately some overconfidence gets Buizel knocked out. Then Ash uses Staraptor again, but Ursaring manages to beat it too. Then Ash switches to Chimchar, and Paul switches to Electabuzz. But then it just uses Light Screen again, and then he switches to Torterra. So Ash switches to Gliscor, but Torterra is able to easily beat it. Then Ash brings Pikachu back out, and Paul uses Ursaring. And Ursaring beats Pikachu too. Now Chimchar is Ash's last Pokemon, while Paul has plenty left. And after Chimchar is able to beat Ursaring, it evolves into Monferno. But it isn't enough, as Paul's Electabuzz manages to beat Monferno, getting it to faint. And Ash loses his first complete battle with Paul. So yeah, as you could tell with me constantly talking about all the switching, Paul used actual legitimate strategy in this battle with all the switching and Light Screen, which is great. It's good to see a battle that uses actual strategy for once instead of anime logic. And it kind of shows their difference in battle ability as well, as Paul is very much more willing to rely on moves, abilities, and tech, while Ash is more about brute force, believing in his Pokemon, and coming up with unconventional strategies. This was probably one of the best fights in the show, honestly.
crushing defeat.
Ash has taken his loss to Paul pretty bad and seems depressed. While Dawn works on something to cheer him up, Brock goes to get some berries to help heal his Pokemon, where he sees Uxie at the lake. A mysterious Pokemon, ooh. Ash, contemplating his loss, is eventually joined by his injured Pokemon, and while all of them are tired and pissed they lost, they reaffirm their friendship and determination to win by promising to work together to get stronger. Which I love, and is another great moment for Ash that he doesn't need to stay depressed like Dawn, which made sense because she was new. He's been through this before, and one loss should not really get him down at all. He should be able to bounce back like this with all the knowledge he has so far being a Pokemon trainer. This is probably one of his best moments, in my opinion. And his confidence is shown to be restored when him and his Pokemon work together to stop Team Rocket, ready for the next battle with Paul. But for now, it's off to Lilypad Town for Dawn's next contest. In promoting healthy Tangrowth, a Tangrowth is going around sucking Pokemon's energy and using it to try to heal a dying tree. In beating the bustle and hustle, the group competed in another wacky race, which I'm noticing is becoming a very common episode premise. In Gateway to Ruin, Team Galactic, and they meet Looker again, who cares? Every episode they do something, the Twerps and Team Rocket interrupt them and they escape. It's so boring. In Three Sides to Every Story, Piplup falls in love with a Meryl and competes with an Elekid for its affection. Then at the end of this episode, Dawn calls her mom, and she informs Dawn that she is the head of the committee in the Twin Leaf Festival. What's the Twin Leaf Festival? Sounds like another useless filler arc to me.
Strategy begins at home.
Returning to Twin Leaf Town for the festival, Dawn has a mock contest battle with her mom, and she loses. Well, what do you think was going to happen? I'm talking to you and Dawn. That's all that really happens in this one. It's just the beginning of the 4-part arc we're on now. In a faux Oak finish, Oak comes to the festival and James dresses up like him again. We did this before. In Historical Mystery Tour, Barry's here too, yay. After some trippy illusions by Natu and Zatu, Ash and Dawn meet Palmer, Barry's dad, who's the leader of the Battle Tower. Then, in challenging a towering figure, Ash, challenges him after winning the battle tournament at the festival, and he loses, ending the festival, and Ash learns of a gym in Sunny Shore City, which they will head to after Dawn's contest in Lilypad Town. Man, they sure love doing these 4-episode arcs of nothing this season, huh? And where no Togepi has gone before, Team Rocket makes a new secret base, but its halls are infested with an evil Togepi who terrorizes Team Rocket and the Twerps.
An egg scramble!
So around this time, Heart Gold and Soul Silver released the remakes of Generation 2, so we gotta advertise it through the anime. As the gang come across the Johto Festival occurring, where they meet Lyra, a trainer from Johto, and her friend Corey, some anime-exclusive character. After pleasantries and stopping Team Rocket, Lyra and Dawn battle, and Dawn wins, so as a reward, she gives Dawn an egg that almost immediately hatches into a Cyndaquil. And Lyra and Corey are now traveling with the group, because Lyra wants to go see the Lilypad Town contest. In Gone with the Windworks, it's an episode where the group is trapped in a room for most of the episode. Now, I do remember this episode because there's a part in it where Lyra has a conversation with Dawn about love. I don't know why it's the thing I remember the most of this episode, but it is.
Hey, Dane, is Ash your boyfriend?
Huh? Ash, no way!
In a rivalry to Gibbledon, Corey catches a Gibble. Who cares? In Dressed for Jess' success, the group arrive at Lilypad Town. However, Jessie is sick, but she's not going to miss a chance to get a ribbon, so she forces James to disguise himself as her and participate with Meowth as the Pokemon. And they do a very good job. James even manages to beat Dawn when her Mamoswine loses its temper, and James manages to win the whole thing. Huh. In Bagged, then Tagged, it's time for Gen 4 and Gen 2 to part, and for goodbyes, Ash and Dawn bye to Lyra and Corey, and Ash and Dawn win. And then we say bye to what were their names again? Probably wasn't important. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are on sale now. In Try for the Family Stone, the group helped 2 siblings with the Pokemon that evolved from a Dust Stone settle their differences, or something like that happens. This one's kind of boring. And sticking with Who You Know, a machine made by a scientist causes all the Water-type and Electric-type Pokemon to become attached to each other, like using the move Attract. This also affects Pikachu and Piplup. The most important thing about this episode, though, is congratulations if you've made it this far, as right here, episode 617 is the official halfway point of the anime. That's right, we are only halfway through, and I'm not even close to done yet. I just want my life back. Well, hopefully the next episode is a fun and interesting one to take my mind off of it.
Unlocking the red chain of events.
Alright, let's get this over with. After finding Meowth collapsed in a field, the group find out Team Rocket and Looker are being held by Galactic, so they go into their base. They save them, and guess what? Team Galactic gets away. Great. Wow, I'm so shocked. But we do find out Cyrus has now hired Jay to capture the Lake Guardians. Okay, maybe she'll make this better.
The needs of the 3!
When Jay tries to capture the Lake Guardians, Gary is there to stop her, but she's too strong of course, and she successfully captures the 3 Pokemon. But as she leaves after handing them over to Team Galactic, her ship takes a powerful Future Sight attack used by the Pokemon, and her ship sinks into Lake Valor. And yeah, that's the last we ever see or hear from Hunter J. Such a cool character and villain, just, yeah, taken out like that. Wow. Now clearly they did this because they intended to maybe bring her back in the future, but I'm going to spoil it now. She doesn't come back, so F's for the best Pokemon villain, I guess. Luckily, we still have Mommy Cynthia, who joins the fight against Galactic as our heroes are teleported by the Lake Guardians into the Galactic HQ, and the final battle begins. You know what, I don't care so much when I'm going to redo that line that I just flubbed. I don't care. Let's finish this.
The battle finale of Legend!
So the gang manages to stop Team Galactic. I mean, what'd you think was going to happen? Look, man, I just really don't care. There is no tension here if they'll stop them. We know what's going to happen. The only interesting villain died. Cyrus is a bitch. Galactic is stupid. I just don't care about this whole thing. Cyrus manages to summon Dialga and Palkia and disappears into the void, and that's how it ends. So yeah, they don't even, really technically stop him. He kind of gets what he wants, I guess. All the jobbers left behind are arrested. Cynthia is still awesome, and I lost valuable hours of my life watching episodes about Team Galactic. Let's move on. In The Treasure Is All Mine, the Torps find a treasure chest that belonged to James that he buried as a kid, and inside is a letter of proposal to Jezebel. Yes, remember that awful woman James is supposed to marry that looks exactly like Jessie? And it turns out it was buried around one of James's family homes. Unfortunately, James gets caught by the butler there, who alerts Jezebel. When all hope seems lost, James gets Ash to send them blasting off with Pikachu's Thunderbolt voluntarily, but unfortunately Jezebel is sent blasting off with them. Wah, wah. It was an okay James episode, not the funniest one, but it was still pretty good. I mean, obviously I found it way more interesting because I described it in way more detail than any of the last 3 combined.
Mastering current events!
On their way to Daybreak Town for Dawn's next contest, the group meet McCann, an Air Battle Master. Ash trains with him using his Gliscor when it learns a new move. Gliscor is such a good student, McCann wants it to stay and continue training, which Ash agrees. Yeah, don't worry, he hasn't released it. This is more like Charizard type of deal where it's just trading off somewhere, it'll return later. In double-time battle training, arriving in Russelltown, the gang are just in time to see Zoe win her 5th ribbon, qualifying her for the Grand Festival. So now Dawn doesn't want to fall behind and invents a new combination move combining Fire-type and Ice-type moves she calls Flame Ice. Wow, that sucks. Also, Ash happens to see Paul being interviewed on TV as he has won his 8th gym badge, so now both trainers need to catch up to their rivals.
A meteoric rise to excellence!
Going through a forest, the group meets an old woman and her Altaria that is training in the move Draco Meteor. Then a wild Gibble comes up who is also trying to learn the powerful Dragon-type move, but can never manage to do it right. Then after some rocket stuff, Gibble hasn't mastered the move yet, but it starts following Ash and his friends. Then in the next episode, Gotta Get a Gibble, the group find out the Gibble is following them, and fuck, why do you keep showing up? Go away. Now Barry wants to catch the Gibble too, but after some rocket stuff, Ash is ultimately its new owner.
Regaining the home advantage!
Alright, here we are, the final stretch at the last season of Diamond and Pearl, Sinnoh League Victors, Pokemon. The new theme, We Will Carry On, is okay. 3rd best of the season, I guess. The episode itself is not that interesting. It's the gang trying to find a new place for a wild Magnezone and Metagross to battle so they can release magnetic charges or something. Short and to the punch. Okay, Weasel learns Ice Punch from a Mr. Mime. In a marathon rivalry, it's an episode based on that dumb Poke-Athlon minigame from Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Hate it there, don't like it here.
Yes, indeedy, it's Dawn!
Yo babe, wake up, new Dawn lore just dropped. Arriving in Daybreak Town for the next contest, the gang meet Ursula again, along with her new Plusle and Minun, and Dawn is terrified of these adorable mouse Pokemon for some reason. Actually, when she was in kindergarten, she took care of the class Plusle and Minun, and she annoyed them so much by hugging them and chasing them around that they shocked her so much her hair stood up and sparkled like a diamond, and the sparkles are like dandruff. Diamond, dandruff, Dee Dee? Yes, this is how she got her nickname. Look, it makes more sense in Japanese, okay? Anyway, when the contest starts, Dawn, Ursula, and Jessie make it past the first round. Then in playing in the performance encore, Ursula beats Jessie, and it's Dawn vs. Ursula in the finals. Then Dawn wins with Cyndaquil and Mamoswine, conquering her, well, not really a fear, more of an embarrassing memory. So now with her final ribbon, she is set to compete in the Grand Festival. And next up is Ash's turn to qualify for his league by getting his 8th badge. On the way to fuck off, Barry. God. Oh, Paul, thank God you're here. Tell Barry to fuck off. Oh, well, telling him to battle Ash is okay too, I guess. Paul also has some feelings about the Sunny Shore gym Ash is heading to.
Sunny Shore Gym?
Huh? Yeah.
That gym is not legit.
Huh?
What are you talking about? That gym's the best.
That gym is the worst.
During Ash and Barry's battle, though, Monferno's blaze goes haywire once again, and to make things worse, Team Rocket has a new Pokemon stealing plan. Put the humans in traps, then steal the Pokemon, and it kinda works. If it weren't for Monferno going apeshit, even with Paul arriving again to help, looks like everyone is gonna die, but Ash, enduring Monferno's blaze, hugs him as he gives him the never give up speech. And now filled with determination, Monferno evolves into Infernape and is able to save the day. Paul surprisingly shows he's impressed by Infernape's power and tells Ash as he leaves they will meet again in the Sinnoh League. Yeah, for the finale of Chimchar's arc, it was pretty good seeing it come full circle, by having Ash putting himself in danger and believing in his Pokemon to get Infernape to Master Blaze, which is something Paul would never even think to do. And for Paul to see it happen and to be visibly shocked that Ash was able to do something he couldn't, felt pretty satisfying. It was a good moment. And Piplup up and away, Gibble's Draco Meteor training seems to coincidentally always land on Piplup, and when he notices no one cares, he leaves dejected. I mean, it's kind of funny.
Flint sparks the fire!
The group finally arrive in Sunny Shore, and we all see what Paul was talking about with this gym. When you arrive, you just get a badge. The leader isn't even there. That's when one of the Elite Four members, Flint, arrives and tells them that the leader, Volkner, has become bored with the repetition of gym battles and is more concerned with developing technology around the city. So to reignite his spark, all the puns intended, Ash and Flint have a battle, which is hot enough to revive his interest in battles. So now Volkner agrees to battle Ash. Hooray!
The Fleeing Tower of Sunny Shore!
And now it's time for that gym battle. What the hell? The power went out. Because the Sunny Shore tower that supplies electricity is flying around like a rocket? Wait. Rocket? Of course, Team Magma! Oh no, it's Team Rocket trying to steal a whole tower to use as their base, which itself is pretty based of them. But Ash and Volkner are there to stop them. During the caper, Grotto evolves into Torterra, but now they have to repair the tower, so Ash has to wait for his final battle. So in the meantime, the group head to Lake Valor, where the Grand Festival is going to be held, so Dawn can compete. In teaching the student teacher, the group run into Dawn's mom again, who is teaching a class, and the group offer to cover for her when she has to go judge a contest. I feel like these school episodes happen a lot too. More importantly, at that contest Johanna is judging, Jessie is competing and wins her 4th ribbon. And keeping in top form, the gang meet another game character a new friend, Marley, who is trying to get a shaman to transform so we can go do something. It's better than the movie, at least. And Pokemon Ranger Heatran Rescue. I guess the games weren't selling as well as they used to, so the Pokemon Rangers only get 1 episode now. In this one, they meet Ben, who is trying to capture a Heatran because it knows a special move. That's the whole plot. Got an hour, did that even need 22 minutes? In an elite cover-up, the group help a trainer recover his stolen Pokemon from Team Rocket, and the trainer's mentor is Bertha, the last member of the Sinnoh Elite Four, who is disguised for literally no reason.
Dawn of a royal day!
I don't remember the name of it, but it's that story of a royal person looking like one of the main characters and they switch places. Here it's Dawn, who switches with a princess so she can compete in the contest. Jessie is also competing in it and is pissed to see who she thinks is Dawn competing since she already has 5 ribbons she needs. The fucking gatekeeper. Princess Dawn manages to win the contest, which unfortunately prevents Jessie from getting her final ribbon, but Princess Dawn gives it to her since she doesn't need it anyway, so now Jessie is in the Grand Festival, because I guess you can just give your own ribbons away. And to thank Dawn for helping her out and letting her enjoy a contest, she gives Dawn her Togekiss. Wow, that's not a fair trade in my opinion, but whatever. And with the easiest of grace, Dawn tests Togekiss out, but it just seems to fly around randomly, so she thinks it's not time to use it in a contest yet. Jessie wants it for herself though, and after stopping them, Dawn realizes Togekiss's flying around is more of a dance that she can use in the Grand Festival. Whoa. And dealing with a fierce double Ditto drama, again, too long for a name, it's a Ditto episode similar to the ones before, except we have this chick who's not Duplica, so I don't care.
Last call, first round!
The Grand Festival has begun, and all of the warriors have gathered. Dawn, Zoe, Jessie, Kenny, Ursula, and Nando. Holy shit, haven't seen him since the Dawn Depression episode, which was like, what, 125 episodes ago? Kenny does try out a risky new performance in the first round, and unfortunately is eliminated early on, so with only 5 main characters left, who will win the festival? Or is it going to be some rando they introduce at the last minute? I really hope not.
Opposites interact!
The next round has Dawn versus Ursula, and Dawn wins, trying out a new Ice Chandelier move, fancy. And yeah, the whole episode is the battle. It's okay. So Dawn moves on, along with Zoe, Nando, and Jessie.
Coming full festival circle!
It's the semi-finals. First is Zoe versus Nando. While they both put up a good fight, Zoe is the one to ultimately win after a timeout. Then it's Dawn versus Jessie, and Dawn is feeling herself today, and it seems she's in top form as well, as she quickly and easily is able to beat Jessie. Gone are the nerves that we've seen before, she's ready to win. Which means now it's down to Dawn and Zoe for the finals.
A grand fight for winning!
It's time for the final battle. Zoe uses her Glameow and a Gallade. Oh shit, that's a pretty good one. And Dawn uses Piplup and Togekiss. Of course, being rivals, the two seem evenly matched, and the fight goes on for a while, but thankfully there is a time limit, and it's decided by the end of a point system, which we see at the end. Zoe ends up having more, and she wins the Grand Festival. Dawn, while upset she didn't win, is happy her friend achieved her dream. Jessie is upset, though, vowing to quit contests and devote herself solely to Team Rocket. But now that the Grand Festival is over, instead of going home, Dawn decides to travel with Ash and Brock and cheer Ash on in his final gym challenge and the Sinnoh League. Gotta say, I'm glad Zoe won and that it wasn't, again, some random character introduced at the last second like they've been doing for the past couple tournaments, I guess. As well as Dawn's story coming full circle, no longer getting depressed over losing, thinking she sucks. Instead, is now looking forward to trying again and winning. Now, I haven't been talking about them much this season because I've been talking way too much. But yes, I still like the contests. And if I haven't made it obvious, I also like Dawn and her story. I do think some characters like Nando and Ursula needed a bit more, but the fact that she had rivals that developed throughout the whole series, as well as giving Jessie an arc as well, sort of, kind of made it worth it. Best girl, best contest arc. And for the love of Meowth, Meowth gets down bad once again, seems to be most of his episodes, this time with a Glameow. But he changes his mind when Glameow evolves into Purugly. Guess Meowth can't handle the thickness. Also, again, I realized that the Glameow owner doesn't freak out when she sees Meowth can talk. Like, more humans should act surprised, come on. In the 8th winner of the Sinnoh world, Ash beats Volkner. The battle itself, again, is okay. This is the first time Infernape actually activates Blaze and controls it, that's cool. But now it's time to head to the Sinnoh League.
4 roads diverged in a Pokémon port.
After missing the boat to the Sinnoh League, the group run into Kenny, as well as Jasmine from Johto. Yes, she's in Sinnoh for similar unexplained reasons as the game. Dawn, seeing Kenny continue to train, realizes she hasn't really set a goal beyond cheering Ash on, and Kenny makes a declaration that he wants to battle Ash, and if he wins, he wants Dawn to go on a journey with him. Ooh. Kenny and Ash battle, and Kenny ends up winning with his Empoleon against Ash's Buizel. And I like Dawn, like I said before, but man, she really did Kenny dirty this episode. Instead of giving him a real answer, she ghosts him at the spot they plan to meet, and leaves a letter saying she plans on cheering for Ash for now, before she figures out what she wants to do. And as long as they both continue to do contests, they will meet again. Damn, my nigga Kenny got friend-zoned, blue balled, down-batted, and other slang's term for getting rejected so hard. In a letter, too, like, broski, Dawn, I like you, but you couldn't even say it to his face? F's in the chat for your boy Kenny. You deserve better, King. Not even Brock got shafted this much. In bucking the treasure trend, the group helped that last character from the games find treasure, whatever. Look, this has no doubt been the longest season so far, maybe for the whole video. I don't really know yet. I just want to get to the Sinnoh League and finish this because my voice is hurting, and this has already been like 3 hours of my life. Yes, I've been here for 3 hours recording this one season. It's that long.
An old family blend.
Finally, the Sinnoh League kicks off, and Ash, unlike before, who usually uses the Pokemon he caught in that region to compete in its conference, decides to have his Pokemon transfer from Professor Oak so he can have some variety. Wow, look at him coming at these smartly for once. However, when transferring them, Team Rocket tries to steal them, but gets sent blasting off, along with some of Ash's Pokeballs, and a few of them get out. Corphish, Snorlax, Bayleaf, and my boy Totodile are all found. The last one is Cyndaquil, and when fending off Team Rocket, it evolves into Quilava. And now Ash has all of his Pokemon, which he'll need for his first opponent, which is a strong one. It's Nando.
League Unleashed!
And the Ash and Nando battle is okay. I think I mentioned it before, while the writing and acting has improved, a lot of this season suffered from some pretty bad animation. It really feels like there were more corners cut here than usual, and yeah, it's a weekly series that at this point is going on for 13 years, so I'm not expecting amazing Sakuga, but damn, some battles feel stiff and uninteresting, especially the choreography, if there's any. Whenever a cool move is done, it's only for like a second, so yeah, battles are not that great this season. Ash does beat Nando, moving on, and in a different stadium we see a new trainer that showed up out of nowhere who is super strong. Gee, I wonder who's going to win this tournament.
Casting a pall on Barry.
So yeah, Paul beats Barry. I think we all predicted that. As most of these episodes are battles, that's all that really happens. But what interests me more is Ash's next opponent is Conway. Man, he showed up more than Nando.
Working on a right move.
Okay, this fight was more interesting, as Conway uses actual strategy and moves besides attacking like most trainers do. Specifically when he uses Shuckle, the god, who uses Power Trick to switch its defense and attack, and his Dusknoir using Trick Room to swap Ash's Pokemon stats. So it makes for an interesting fight when Ash has to figure out how to counter these moves that were made to counter him. Ash does manage to win thanks to Gible finally mastering Draco Meteor, and now the real shit begins, as Ash's next battle is against Paul. Fuck yes. And guess who has done their training just in time? It's Gliscor, here to join the battle, so let's get to it.
Familiarity breeds strategy.
The true final battle begins, and it starts off not so good for Paul, as his first two Pokemon, an Aggron and a Gastrodon, are knocked out, and Paul notices with Ash switching out his Pokemon that he's not using the Pokemon he brought over from Oak. It's the same team from their first full battle. It seems Ash has the advantage, but Reggie, who's watching on TV, realizes Paul let Ash win those first two on purpose, and the episode ends with Paul's Drapion seemingly having a trap for Buizel.
A real rival rouser.
It seems Paul used his first two Pokemon to figure out Ash's strategy, and now he has a perfect countermeasure for everything Ash is doing, as Paul's Drapion is able to KO Buizel, Staraptor, and even Torterra. This is thanks to the move Toxic Spikes, which is weakening Ash's Pokemon when he switches them out. Ash is able to get rid of it with some anime logic by burning them with Infernape, and then Ash turns the tide again and is able to beat Paul's Ninjask and Frostlass. And this one ends with Gliscor charging at Drapion. Yes, we got a three-parter, baby.
Battling a thaw in relations.
Finally, Ash is able to take out Drapion that's been causing him so much trouble, and all Paul has left is his new Electivire, which is able to take out Gliscor as well as Pikachu. So now the only Pokemon left to take down Paul is the one he abandoned, Infernape, who has already lost some stamina from battling, while Electivire is perfectly healthy. And just when it seems Paul is about to win as Infernape collapses from its damage...
So I guess that's the best you can do then. You're pathetic, just like always.
Infernape gets a huge boost from Blaze now, and after an intense slugfest with Electivire, the winner, finally, is Ash. Not just in this league match, but his first victory against Paul in a battle ever. After the fight, Ash talks to Paul before he leaves, and while they still don't agree on how to train Pokemon, they can tell each other now has some sort of respect for their styles of training. Paul heads off to Snowpoint City to challenge Brandon again, as Ash prepares for the semifinals.
The semi-final frontier.
So yeah, after that sick battle, Ash loses to, you guessed it, that random trainer that showed up out of nowhere, named Tobias, who has made everyone scared as he has won every one of his battles, only using his first Pokemon, a Darkrai. Wow, we've seen it twice now. Ash takes a moral victory by being the only one in the tournament to beat Darkrai, forcing Tobias to use a second Pokemon, a Latios. What the fuck? You got Mew in your party too, man? Why are legendaries not banned in this tournament? Anyway, Tobias does manage to win the whole thing. Oh yeah, you might be shocked I haven't mentioned this, but Cynthia is also there. And as much as I simp for her, she's just kind of there because she's the champion. She doesn't really, do anything. She just shows up, so that's why I didn't mention her. After the tourney, Ash and Dawn affirm their dreams to be the best like no one ever was, leaving Brock to start thinking about actually achieving his dream. Oh yeah, also I should mention this, that in this episode, Ash finally does that thing where he turns his cap backwards. He hasn't done that since, episode 50 or something? Why'd they stop doing that?
The Brockster is in!
Gang take a ferry ride back to Twin Leaf Town so they can have one last farewell at Dawn's house. On the ferry is a Pokemon nursery. What could go wrong? Oh, Team Rocket, of course, who also don't want to say goodbye, so they try to steal all the Pokemon. But during it, a group of Tentacruel poison all the Pokemon at the nursery. While they wait for a Nurse Joy to arrive by boat, Brock uses all his ingenuity and smarts to help the Pokemon in time for Nurse Joy to arrive. And during this, his Happiny evolves into a Chansey. Nurse Joy is so impressed by Brock's medical knowledge that he suggests he would make a great Pokemon doctor, which I agree with. He is always there to heal the Pokemon of the group whenever they're hurt, as we saw in that episode with the sick Pachirisu. Not to mention, as a doctor, he would be around a lot of Nurse Joys, which I'm sure he wouldn't mind. But hey, whatever he decides, it doesn't change the fact that right now, we are finally here. The final episode of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
bliss.
Not much happens really, despite what happened on the journey. After reminiscing on their journey, Ash and Dawn again reaffirm their dreams, while Brock officially announces his new goal of becoming a Pokemon doctor. Of course, we have to have one more rocket stealing attempt, which of course fails, but it turns out Giovanni has actually requested Jesse, James, and Meowth to return to Kanto for a special assignment by Giovanni's new assistant, Matsuri. So yeah, they got promoted. Good for them, despite not being deserved at all. Finally, the heroes bid each other farewell as Dawn decides to remain in Sinnoh for now. Ash and Brock return to Kanto, where Brock heads back to Pewter, and the season ends with Ash and Pikachu running toward Pallet Town. And yes, sadly, if you're aware of the future seasons of the anime, this is the final season with Brock as a traveling companion. He will come back sometimes, way later, but as far as traveling with Ash, he's done. He went 4 series strong, but my boy's becoming a doctor now, so it's a bittersweet farewell. So look, I have no curtain to cover that light at the window there. It's really annoying me though. It happened like the last recording session too. I need to get a curtain or something because it just really pisses me off. But yeah, I love this season. It was the most different so far, and it was definitely my favorite. Ash actually had stuff to do this season thanks to his rivalry with Paul and helping Infernape. Paul is definitely the best rival to Ash. I love Gary as much as the next guy, but Paul actually had motivation for why he's such a dick, and actually tying it into the Battle Frontier, which I thought was a boring arc that just served no purpose than to pad time, was a great way to reuse something I didn't care for. Not to mention all the story beats hits perfectly with their rivalry from Chimchar's growth, Paul's battle with Brandon, then Ash, and even Ash losing all of their battles until the final one, which added tension and hype to every single one. And it made it so satisfying when he does eventually get that dub, and in the Sinnoh League no less. And seriously man, if they somehow even match the amount of hype as that moment where Ash called for Chimchar to fight during the tag battle match, like that would be very impressive, because that's probably my favorite moment in Pokemon so far. That's going to be very hard to top. Like I said with Dawn, I loved her. Unlike May, her setting out with a dream and the confidence to do so made her arc when she lost in the first round for a while feel natural for her character to help her realize what she needs to do to improve. I still wish the resolution was different, but I still loved it, as well as her rivals. They all complimented her nicely. Finally, my boy, he didn't do much like every season. He's kind of there for comedic relief mostly, but him and Krogunk were great comedic relief. Unlike the last one, I've already erased from my memory. And while I still hate he's gone, that's the end of that sentence. I still hate Team Galactic as a concept, but at least Hunter J was a cool villain, and it sucks that she was kinda underused and way too overpowered, and will sadly never be used again. And those were the only few negatives the season had. I did think the season didn't really have the funniest episodes, you know, like when they were trying to be funny, they were just kinda okay. There was maybe 1 or 2 where I was like, yeah, okay, that was a pretty fun one. And like I mentioned earlier during the Sinnoh League, the animation quality seemingly suffered, but due to its storytelling, its characters, the writing, the pacing, this so far is my favorite Pokemon season. Banger one, I loved it. I give it a 8 out of 10. I'm rating them now. Just this one though. That's the only one I'm rating. But we do still have around 600 episodes and 4 more series to go, so let's stop digging around. I've talked about this series enough. Let's move on to the next one, Pokemon Black and White, and see if it can keep the hype going.
We will find